Attention. This is not just a normal t-shirt. This is your battle armor in this war against lies and manipulation and deception. And when you wear this t-shirt, you are not just making a statement. You are drawing a line in the sand. And you're saying, I will not be silenced, I will not be bought, and I will not be steered. Every thread in this t-shirt screams defiance. Every letter of I found the truth, not propaganda. Or maybe every letter of the nation needs to know is a rally cry out for independent thinkers, disruptors, the people who refuse to bend to the mainstream media narrative. We need your fund, and this is your chance to stand up, to speak out and fund the fight for the truth. Don't just wear it like a regular t-shirt. You have to live it. The nation needs to know you're gonna live it. Yes, please. I need you to fuel the resistance. Be the reason why the truth survives in this country. Please get yours at thebarakashow.com. And thank you so much for keeping us on air. Thank you.
In the shadow of the digital gulag, we fire up the truth cannon and blast through the lies.
And the show host, Baraka Amuri.
Ladies and gentlemen, patriot, truth seekers, digital warriors, welcome back to the show again. Once again, this is the second time we're broadcasting live. And this time is not about me, it's about Reform UK. This time is about Nigel Farage sending a powerful signal to the establishment. He's saying that we are next. I don't know if they're gonna do good, but hey, that's not my job to talk about. I'm here to report to you the news live. Now, it is now 8 days left into the massive gathering, September 13th, where we're gonna deliver a big message to the establishment and telling them, not here. London will say never. The UK says no. The UK says shut it down. Now, of course, I'm going to be there reporting with the team. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, comment and subscribe, because on the 13th of September, I'm going to be there with the team reporting live, sending you, because I'm always in the room. I'm always sitting here reporting to you in this room. I want to be outside. And September 11th, give me that chance to taste what do you call it, where I can meet you guys, interview you, be ready, and maybe learn how to interact with people outside. I want to do that, and September 11th gives me that chance. So guess what? I'm gonna seize it. I'm gonna own the airwaves. I'm gonna own the broadcasting signals. I'm gonna capture it. It's gonna be mine. September 13th, make sure you subscribe. And if you're not coming, I'm going to make sure you feel like you're there with us. I'm going to make sure you get every single action, every single thing that happens. I'm going to make sure you get to feel like you was a part of it. Now, as I said, today is not about me. It's about Reform UK. And I want to switch you back to what they're doing. They got news t-shirts. They're out there, they're making noise, they're excited, and it looks pretty cool. And especially Angela Rayner had to pack her bag and come back to Manchester. I'm sure Nigel Farage is getting himself ready to become the next Prime Minister, or maybe to have the biggest chance ever in his life to touch that trophy, to sit on that side, and to be called a Prime Minister. And I'm sure he's been waiting for this time for a very long time. I mean, he's been out there for very long. I think this is his chance. I don't know how he's gonna do, but hey, as I said, nothing to do with me today. I'm here to show you what is going on at the conference. The conference is called the Next Step Conference 2025, beaming straight from Birmingham, UK. And of course, it's not just a random gathering, it's a celebration. It's a seismic events where these guys, where Reform UK is basically celebrating the exit of of Angela Rayner, and they're also declaring new stuff. One being Zia Youssef will be a head of policies. I mean, that's a huge news. And of course, the events is going on right now, but they had to pause it because of the big news that happened. Of course, Angela Rayner is out. I wanna bring you back to them, but right now they are not talking. I'm gonna quickly show you a little clip of what's going on there. But they are not talking. Right now they're on break. While they're on break, we're gonna talk with each other. We're gonna have fun together. But when they come back, I'll say you back to them. But let me show you what they're doing right now. They're just showing around, and we got Kyle just showing around and asking people questions. I think that's not important. But here's a clip I want you to see. This is live right now.
Look, there's a bar. We're going to avoid that.
This is live.
So there's also a lot of very intelligent people in suits who keep walking around looking really serious. Look, here's the. Let me show. Sorry about that. So how do people on mobile phones that don't look where they're going and then they bang your head? This, I think, well, there's a counsellor's lounge. There's press interviews going on here. There's lots of. This is the media centre. Look at the media. Just having chips. Boys, come on, I haven't eaten yet. You all right? Sorry to interrupt. Gee, I've got the wrong gig, I have. Absolutely. Oh, look, there's a woman. Look at it. Look at this dress.
From Liverpool, and we need a way forward. Just to let you know, Jeremy, I will be the next Lord Mayor of Liverpool.
Right, a very good afternoon, madam. You're looking resplendent. Paula Johnson, Liverpool Riverside. Which are you?
A red.
Are you good? And you're looking very white. Talk.
I've got a boutique in South Liverpool.
See, cheap plugs. Here we go. Go on.
I'm runner-up Merseyside Woman of the Year.
Is this your sister?
No, friends. We just met today on the bus.
Did you?
Yeah.
So, Businesswoman of the Year, and he came on the bus. Was it the Reform bus?
It was the can't walk in these heels right round the sides of this arena.
Let's have a big, aren't they?
There's always one.
So, what's your business in Liverpool?
I have a boutique, ladies' boutique.
And on a serious note, we're trying to get and gather as much info as we can.
Yeah.
When you come here today as a businesswoman, come here as a business owner.
Yeah.
What is it about where we're at politically and where you and people here today believe we should be? How is this government, how is the political situation affecting your business right now?
Horrendously. National insurance, employment. I'm a mother of 4 adult children, grandmother of 6. I'm from a town in our country, a city, that are predominantly Labour, and I was on the hand delivering for Sarah, Helsby and Runcorn, on the day of her win. I admire her. I think she's a great ambassador for what she does, and I will be Reform Mayor of Liverpool. That's my goal.
Good for you. When you see the popularity, when you're here, when you look around, the media outlets are extraordinary. It's patently obvious that Reform has the ear, I suspect, of not a majority of British people, but actually, a huge number are buying into what Nigel and David and the team and Richard Tice are talking about. There are cynics that would say, it's all good to say that, is it going to be possible to do it?
Anything's possible in life, and liars hate the truth, as today's news has just...
let's have your reaction to Angela Rayner resigning today.
Okay, I'm the daughter of a serving police officer in Merseyside Police of 30 years. My father is 93 of age, and he brought us up. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. Liars hate the truth.
It's a really interesting time, and I read an article at the weekend where somebody said to Nigel, the thing is, you're flawed. And he went, they'll have a go at me for smoking and drinking and gambling, and I've had a girlfriend. But that's what I personally think, that's what the British people want. They're sick and tired of people pretending to be something they're not and missing out, right?
With all due respect, where you are today may not have worked that way. It was a path meant for you. Yeah. We all have flaws, we're all human. So every human on the planet has a white skeleton and red blood. Why do we see anyone as any different? Why are we so quick to judge? This is not about the past. This Reform UK is the way forward.
It's great to meet you. The next Mayor of Liverpool, if she's away, she is called, Paula Johnson. Remember the name and the dress and the boutique. Can I get any free, and the mindset, can I get any free clothes for the wife?
Absolutely.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I was going to say give her a round of applause. There's no audience. And you, my darling. See you later. Right, so we're keeping... I do apologise. So we're going to go very soon, just so you're aware. Will come back on stage in the Med Hall, and of course the speeches this afternoon will continue.
Let's see. what you're seeing right now is that we're going to be doing on the September 13th. We're going to be doing that. We're going to be going everywhere, asking people questions. We're going to be there, myself and the team. We're finally going to come out this time. We don't usually go outside. I like staying inside. I mean, every time when I go outside, I always feel like, I don't know. I never feel safe. I always go back in. So yeah. So we're going to be there. I'm going to be broadcasting live, interviewing every single one of you. If you're going to be there on September 13th, make sure you come to me so you can be a part of the broadcast. It's going to be a strong one. It's going to be everywhere. We're going to be live streaming to Rumble, Facebook. I'm probably going to put Instagram there as well. Twitter, YouTube, on the website. It's going to be everywhere. So make sure, if you are not coming, make sure you tune into our broadcast. It's going to be the strongest one. I'll probably say it's going to be the second strongest one. Because obviously Tommy Robinson and his team will be probably the strongest one, as they are, they have all the plugs and all the powerful Wi-Fi and stuff, as they are the one hosting it. And we're going to be the second. That's the goal. But anyways, let me send you back to what is going on at the conference right now.
Further than just here.
Yeah, no, I really do think that now, because to people, it's a great feeling, and they're enthusiastic to get things done.
Can I just make some suggestions? Are you single?
Yes.
Yeah. Could you get your ears waxed? It's actually quite a one thing. Herbie from Harrow, what a lovely... And you, sir, what's your name?
Nick Ford.
What do you do, Nick?
Well, I'm retired,
Yeah.
I'm afraid, but
Had to come today, right?
Oh, I had to. Yeah, I came last year.
Yeah.
And this
What
is-
about the difference? I can't take that seriously.
No, you can't really.
Honestly, I can't. 5, 4, 3, 2. We've gone. Oh, this is the lovely thing, right? From 2 minutes to 10 minutes. I don't care. I'm open-minded. I'm here till Christmas. What's your name again?
It's Nick Ford. I'm from Cumbria.
Cumbria.
Yeah.
And that's quite an interesting statistic today, actually, is
that's
that
right,
people have
yeah.
come from everywhere.
Oh yeah, somebody I was talking to come up from Dorset. I mean, they come from.
Where you come from in Cumbria, what's the feeling in terms of political feelings across where you live in the area? Are people fed up, believing? What's the situation?
There, basically, as you would know, Cumbria is a red area,
that's why
red
I asked.
wall, if you call it,
Yeah.
Labour. But I have noticed, we were doing some campaigning for a town councillor, and we found that whereas before you'd put out the lights and they'd probably poo-poo you or make nasty noises, this time they were saying, great, thanks very much, I'm going to vote reform. And nearly every single person said that, and in fact, won. So in that kind of area, for that kind of switch, I think it shows how disillusioned people are with the Labour Party, because that place used to be a Labour stronghold for 70 years.
What is it about Nigel Farage? What is it about his personality? It's all about message. It's all about being in the right place at the right time. Why do you think people are driven to move towards him, it seems?
I think because he's got that kind of personality, that charisma. He talks to the ordinary people. He doesn't act like, I'm a politician, you should be listening to me. He's across, and of course
One
also...
of us?
One of, yeah.
A few times, whatever.
Yeah, normal. As is fags, and everybody can connect with that. And the point is, he has for a very long time wanted the country to be independent. He's for a very long time made the noises that people want to hear. That's what we want. We need somebody who's willing to say these things, but do them, not just sit there and noise like some of the politicians and then, oh dear, we didn't have time to do it.
Now, just one thing before I run off, because I look like
you're
Challenge
doing very well,
Annika without the
actually.
yellow
Well done,
suit. Yeah, I'm sweating like a pig, and you've got a coat and a hat on.
Yeah, I know.
It's 80 degrees.
I know, but I'm still managing.
You're still managing, right? I'm going to grab these women because they stare. See you later, Sakir. Will you still be in power by 5 o'clock? You can't point a camera at me and then disappear. Come here. Look, see, this is what happens. Oh, look, we're doing bello. What's your name?
Sarah.
Sarah. What's your name?
Ali.
Oh, she's quite scared. Where are you from?
I'm from Swindon, Wiltshire.
Swindon. 2 people from Swindon. Very popular in Swindon. Are you from Swindon?
No, I live in Wales.
Oh dear. Well, it was before the Labour Party ran it for 25 years.
Absolutely.
So you know each other, or?
Yeah, we used to work together.
Oh, just an overview, really. We're just trying to understand as people come from the main order for lunch. What did you make of Nigel's speech brought forward today at conference because of the tragic news of Angela?
Devastated.
Maybe we should do some montages. Let's do it right now. Tell me, Alison, what did you feel when you heard that Angela Rayner had to resign?
Oh, I was absolutely devastated, really, really. It's going to drive me to drink tonight, let me tell you that.
That might have been my problem last night, which is why I'm feeling so crap. Do you see a way back for Angela Rayner?
I hope there's not one back for Angela Rayner. I don't think that Angela Rayner deserves a way back.
Do you feel any sympathy for this woman? I mean, we heard all about, a mistake and the child and all that, but somebody said to me over there, you live by the sword, you die by the sword, right?
Absolutely. No sympathy whatsoever.
Very interesting. I mean...
It's going to be flowing cheap in Hove, though, rather shortly, I would imagine.
Well, that's an interesting one. And also, we had the Keir Starmer lookalike. There are plenty of people that will wonder, with her on the back benches, what the next move for him will be. I mean, Nigel, apparently, I was in here, but was saying, preparing his party here at conference to be ready for a general election at any point.
I hope so. Seriously, I have sleepless nights. Well, not sleepless nights, but I really worry for the future of our country, generally. It scares me.
Do you think they've woken up to the fear, their parents or their grandparents, and some people are going, actually, I'm concerned going forward? Do you think that's changed?
Yeah, I do a lot of work doorsteps in and that's definitely the case. And I the other day I was out leafleting in Newport, where I live, and it was always very, very, very strong Labour hold there, and we've got the steelworks there, we have the mining works, so it's really working class. Single good thing to be told to me about Labour, and there were people. I've always voted Labour, always voted.
Me. What are you doing, sir? Look at him. Domino's, nice pizza. Is that what you meant? Thank you very much indeed. That's breaking news as we head around the conference. What's your name? Steve Mills. King, Swinford and South Staffordshire.
That's
React to that news. Angela Rayner's gone. The Leader of the Commons, Lucy Cowell's gone now.
It's just a house of cards, isn't it?
Yeah.
Feels like that anyway.
You've been here today on a serious note. You've seen your leader, Nigel Farage. What did you make of the speech? Did it inspire?
Very inspiring. I was going to use that word before you did, yeah. Absolutely. It had a feel of a rally, which we've seen in previous times gone by, rallies that you wouldn't probably associate with, but every word out of his mouth was something that you could relate to. And he holds that as strongly as you do. Well, that was my opinion anyway, that it's coming from his heart.
And do you get the feeling that across the country, you can stand here if you can speak to all these people, but do you get the feeling across the country that people who perhaps would never have admitted to having an interest or a belief in reform are suddenly going, well, we're at a point where I personally, they will say, believe that we're in trouble? Do you think that's happening more? Have you seen that at conference?
I don't think I even need to answer that question. When did he come out of retirement? Was it last June?
Yeah, June.
Look at the movement. Look at the momentum that's gained since June. It speaks for itself.
It's really good to meet you, though. Slightly dodgy jacket.
Excuse me.
Look at me. What is this?
Too conservative, that is.
Are you sure? I don't know what that is. Just don't lie down in the middle of the road, because it'll be like a zebra.
Can I have a picture?
Can you hold on a minute? Yeah, we are broadcasting live, but we'll have a picture. Doesn't that? No, we can't do it. He's the cameraman. Honest to God. Oh, it's fine.
Thank you.
Honestly, having a picture whilst working, still haven't had lunch. Lovely, nice to see you. I'm going to get him because I heard him say he's a West Ham fan.
I certainly am. Up the
There's only three of us, mate.
Yeah, I mean,
England are playing tomorrow.
Get out. You've had your chance. How are you, my friend? So Peter Harris.
Yes, a councillor in Clacton.
A reform councillor.
Of course, a reform councillor
in Clacton in Nigel Farage's home constituency.
Yes, absolutely. I was one of the Farage four who came over in the general election, and was very much involved in that.
So having been involved here pretty early doors. What do you make of the difference between 2025 and 2024 in terms of today, in terms of everything? Nigel's speech, just people's reaction.
Well, I think, first of all, there's a magnificent buzz here. And if you look at it from last year everyone was so enthusiastic and excited about the general election result. But what you've seen here today, you've seen our party grow, become more professional. You've seen so many more. I think last year, we had one TV studio and a cab, basically. And now you just look around us. We've got Heathrow Airport, we've got JCB. I've just to these guys here, phenomenal British company.
Got a bus as well that wouldn't let me on.
but it's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah,
you can see the excitement, and I think there's real belief here that we're going to do it and we're going to get into government.
Doing a survey to make sure that people get a fair response. I'd like your genuine response to the shocking news that Angela Rayner has had to resign today.
Oh, I welled up.
Have you heard the other breaking news? He's now sacked the Leader of the House of Commons, Lucy Powell, sacked the Scottish Secretary. There are many people saying that this phase 3 in 72 hours at the beginning of the end.
Well, I think this is the beginning of the end. I think this is like a pack of cards. I think they're all going to start falling. And I really do agree with Nigel in that there will be an earlier general election. And I think that...
do you think his party, Nigel's party, your party, would be ready for an early election if that so happened? Somebody said something today in the conference hall that financially this country is in a worse predicament than when Liz Truss, who lasted 47 days. And presumably the bond markets and the financial people also have a part to play, and they will bring pressure.
We have to be ready. There's absolutely, the people are demanding that we do something for this country. We're the only party that's actually going to save this country. I'm a business owner, and I talk to many businesses, and I've seen my business, I've seen lots of
What's your business, if you don't mind me asking?
Motor vehicle repairs. And I've had it, we're coming into our 20th year now. This has been the most difficult period in trading, outside COVID that is, that we've ever had. We've seen the pressures, the costs, the national insurance contributions, it's just unbelievable. Everywhere we turn, there seems to be more taxes, and this government is making it very, very difficult for small businesses. I speak to many businesses. I chaired a meeting of 120 local businesses in Clacton. 80% of those businesses put their hands up and said that they were thinking of reducing staff numbers there purely because of government policy. It's an absolute outrage. It really is bad.
Listen, it's really nice to meet you. We're loving the tie. Peter Harris, a Clacton councillor for Reform. I've got to now show my abilities to speak for about 45 seconds because, let me tell you, we've been running around. I don't know what they call this area. Just throw the camera. It's extraordinary, this whole thing, right? We've been taking you around the merch and the food and absolutely everything. But the main hall, the main business is going to be back in literally seconds. David Bull back on stage. Your speakers this afternoon will take you through the afternoon. Nigel did do earlier, so that's true. But there is a keep. Now, see what happens to me on live television? Keep going. Suddenly we're going from 45 seconds to keep going. Are you all right, sir? What's that? Anthony, you're right. But see, they stand and stare at me, and when you go and talk to them, they run away. You all right?
I was just listening in on what you were saying.
Are you well?
I'm well. I'm trying to out what the programme is today.
This is live across the whole area. This is Nigel. This is streaming. Have you seen Nigel Farage's speech today?
No, I only just got here.
You've only just got here. Yeah. So he brought his speech forward. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
You won't be able to see his speech this afternoon. On the basis of Angela Rayner's resignation, Nigel came out and spoke about 45 minutes ago to inform people that she was no longer. But I don't know. You're obviously a highly political person. In the last half an hour, we've heard that Starmer has sacked the head of the Commons, Lucy Powell, and also his Scottish Secretary. Your response to that?
I don't know that much about the politics. I think it's good news. It's good news that they're sacking each other. Yeah.
They certainly seem to be. Thank you very much. He's had a lovely afternoon. You're standing there looking hopeful. What's your name, sir? He's a councillor. Cole Caesar, a man whose surname... Salad. How are you?
I'm good myself.
That was crap, wasn't it? Oh, it's an honour to be with you. On a serious note, have you disappeared? How long have I got now? You're just standing there. Keep going, Jen.
5 seconds, it's gone now.
Honestly, I'm like a Duracell bunny. How's it going?
Good. I think it's been a good atmosphere around here. Obviously, Nigel Farage speaking slightly earlier, obviously with Angela Rayner.
He was devastated, that bloke from But he's come on 3 buses in a train, and Nigel Farage has gone home. He's already spoken.
I have to say, I think I'll be devastated as well if I missed Nigel.
What did you make? What did you make of the speech?
I think it was fantastic, and I think it proves that he will be the next Prime Minister of this country. And
I was just to everybody in the last 20 minutes. Keir Starmer has sacked Lucy Powell, the Leader of the House of Commons. He sacked the Scottish Secretary. Many people in this auditorium are saying It's like a house of cards. What's your reaction to poor old... Very sad about Angela Rayner today, wasn't it?
Oh, it's devastating, really. No, I think, well, that's the first time I've heard about Lucy. But I think it's a downfall of the Labour Party, and hopefully we'll have an early general election.
Well, I take that point, actually, because we were talking about it earlier. Nigel Farage put his party on a war footing, so to speak, and said you need to be... And you look at, as I said to the man just then, you look at what happened with Liz Truss, financially, the same could happen. Do you think this ragtag bag of people, do you think that this party, when you consider he only came back into politics, last June, do you see a party that would be ready to govern?
I think we are. I think we've still got a long way to go, if I'm honest. As I said, we need some very high experienced people. Nigel Farage did make it very clear that one of the biggest weaknesses we do have currently at this moment in time is that we don't have people who have experience in obviously Parliament with policy making, but we're starting to get that. Obviously, Nadine Norris, which is one of them that's come over today, which could really help us. And
how did she? I was in here trying to get something to eat unsuccessfully. How did Nadine Norris's entrance in terms of the members and how did that go in the hall?
Well, firstly, I think she was shocked about the entrance. It was a very big show when she came on, but she spoke very well, and she spoke to heart about, I think, the difficulties of leaving the Conservative Party, joining Nigel Farage, obviously the Reform Party here. But I'm really glad that she has made that move. It shows strong colours. It takes bravery to go from. She's been.
Now you need to do me a favour, because we need to start moving people back to the main auditorium. So, ladies and gentlemen, you need more speeches. You need to go that way. I've turned into like I'm doing everything. I see somebody I want to speak to. Very nice to meet you. You need to get back. How are you?
What I have done.
Nice. Where are you from?
I'm South Wales. South Wales.
Got your shirt? Got your tattoo? Got my name on you?
No.
Right. See ya. Bye. I'm only messing, thank you. Good luck. Where is that lady gone? Let's see. Isabel Oakeshott, could I borrow you briefly? This is Isabel Oakeshott, political commentator and my good friend. Come here. Right. I've been round here. They said minutes. This is now 47 minutes. I haven't had any lunch or anything. Just very quickly. We speak all the time.
You've been on the bus?
I've been on the bus. I've been upstairs. I've sat at the back. Some bloke had a free thing. I've been to the merchandise store. I've had no lunch and I'm slightly hot.
Okay, well, you're always slightly hot, aren't you? Who you are.
Thank you. Isabel, on a serious note, what did you make of Nigel Farage's speech? Obviously brought forward on the basis of the news from Westminster. I don't know if you've heard the latest news, have you? Lucy Powell's just been sacked by Keir Starmer, and also the Scottish Secretary. House of cards, it seems.
So it seems to me that Nigel made some really important announcements that shouldn't be overshadowed by any moving of the deck chairs on the sinking Labour ship. Nigel announced today that he's going to stop the boats within 2 weeks of taking government. That is one hell of a pledge. He also announced that he's setting up a department for preparing for power. That is quite something 4 years out. So I think there's a lot going to come out of this conference. As the Labour Party, I mean, almost who cares? Unfortunately, they are still in charge, but, you know.
Do you think I can grab Richard? Do you think he'll come? Do you think he's too busy posing for photographs? We thank you. I know you've been really, really busy. Richard Tice, look at this. Look at this.
Young man, how are we,
I've had no lunch at all.
Not at all.
I've been on the bus. I've been everywhere.
Nor have I. I've got my Mars bar though.
Brilliant, thanks. I want your reaction to the breaking news that not only. First of all, how do you react to the Angela Rayner? Very sad news.
Well, frankly, she's finally done the right thing. I mean, it was inevitable, morally indefensible, and the Telegraph did a brilliant job in exposing scandal at the heart of this government, in complete hypocritical contrast to what they promised.
And also in the last 20 minutes, Keir Starmer sacked Lucy Powell, the dog whistle woman, the leader of the House of Commons. He's also sacked the Scottish Secretary.
Crikey. Wow. So
House of cards, potentially.
It's extraordinary. I
thought Lucy Powell was one of his allies.
I'm surprised by that. Let's put
you
it
see,
like that.
breaking news, and all I've got is a cameraman, some bloke who's never worked in television, and a woman who keeps going 45 seconds.
Katie's doing fantastic.
She is, but she keeps going 45 seconds. Just going to leave me without any food. Oh, we're walking and talk with Richard Tice. But you make me. How long are we doing now? We're just keeping. We've got to go.
We've got to go.
We've got to finish. Richard Tice, back to the main arena with David Bull. More later, you lucky people. Ta-ra.
Away from you, Jezza.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the Chairman of Reform UK, Dr. David Bull.
Thank you very much indeed. Welcome back to Reform UK's Chairman Conference 2025. I think you will agree we got off to a cracking start this morning with Rayna's resignation and also Nigel's very impassioned speech. Now, as I said, Reform UK is moving at a very quick pace, an exponential rate. Our councillors across the country really are first class, and they are delivering for the United Kingdom. Amazingly, we have more than 880 councillors across the UK, and they are growing by the day. It's a really difficult job, but it's a really important job. Many of them have had little or no political experience, but they do have life experience, and they have come from a variety of backgrounds. And that is what I keep saying when I go around the country. This party is different. We are building our mission from the ground up and not the top down. And one of the other differentials between us and the other parties is quite how many young people are now voting for us and also representing us across this great country. I am, of course, talking about our young Reform councillors who are doing a sterling job. Please do give them a round of applause, huge round of applause. Really good to see you. Really good to see you. Thank you. Well, here they are. Of course, I'm delighted now to introduce a mate of mine. He is a GB News presenter for the Saturday 5, and of course, he is the host of the Alex Armstrong Tonight Show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alex Armstrong. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Well, well, well. Who would have thought you'd see me and Darren on a panel again, eh? Isn't that fun? It's the Saturday 4, the Friday 4. That's got a better ring to it, hasn't it? Well, it's such a pleasure to be with young councillors today, because you are the future of politics in this country. And I think I've got to start by asking, have all of you watched Adolescence?
Oh. Yes. Yes.
Good. Now let's get some serious. All young councillors here except Darren Grimes. I don't know how you're passing on this one, but there we go. Right, I'll start with... How rude. How rude. I'll start with... Darren, I'll start with you. You've, of course, been in the spotlight for a very, very long time. How do you deal with the pressure of that, particularly as a young person, or at least that's what we're calling you?
Do you know, a geriatric young person. But I would say that actually what motivates me is that you speak to so many young people in parts of the world, like County Durham, but also in Derbyshire and elsewhere, where their future prospects, there used to be a consensus that you'd be better off than the previous generation. Well, we've totally broken that cycle now. You are finding yourself unable to get on the housing ladder, unable to actually save up money to be able to get a deposit and all these other things, to pay your bills. Your future prospects have been decimated by the Boris betrayal. I'm afraid to say, 1 million people coming here every single year. Your kids don't have any life chances, and it's down to the uni party, which is why we need to give them a bloody good kick up the behind. Yeah. It can be difficult. You know, I'll tell you this. I think there are elements of, you know, I've mentioned this before, Alex, but you'll know as well. The dating pool, when you are a right-wing councillor, can be interesting. Yes, I'm waiting for Channel 4 to call up and put me on the undateables. But we need to do it, so I'm so thankful and so delighted to be standing alongside so many talented young people.
Oh, absolutely. We're talking about Annie May.
Oh, thank you.
Of course, from the Essex area, the whole country's been talking about Essex right now. And of course, you've been speaking a lot about women's safety and young women's safety.
Yeah.
And of course, you're having a bit of a media spotlight as a result of that too. How are you handling all of that?
And she's a Reform FC model, don't forget.
That's a good point, yeah. Reform FC model on the stage.
Well, you might have seen my face across with the FC football shirts, and that is all Nigel and the team. But yeah, I think as a young councillor, it's great to get involved with the community. I am a town councillor for Chipping-Ongar, so we really are the local government at the moment. And having just the support of everyone in the town and speaking to the community is really what keeps me going. Hearing from the old and young about their, you know, passion for Ongar, passion for Essex. Unfortunately, we did have the issue with the Bell Hotel and an Epping Forest reformer, completely devastated. But we had that amazing news that was found. So yeah, we can't be more happy with that.
Brilliant stuff. Keep up the hard work there in Epping. The whole country's talking about Epping. Would you believe that? Incredible, incredible. And Charlotte, the same question to you. How are you handling the pressure of being a young politician?
Well, as a Melbourne and Woodville County Councillor now, representing Derbyshire County Council, I have actually been a follower of Farage since the age of 14. I paid a £2 annual membership and I joined UKIP back in the day at the start of the Brexit campaign.
Wow. Wow.
And following on from that, I went on to school and had some mock elections actually in 2016 at high school. And I quite proudly got my pen out and crossed UKIP at the time. And my teacher came up to me and he said, "Who's voted UKIP on this table?" And I was quite proud to throw my hand up at the age of 16 and say, I support Nigel Farage, and I've never changed from that.
Wow, that is quite ballsy, isn't it? That's quite ballsy. Of course, Darren, there's a lot of skeptics, young skeptics. We've seen polls come out recently, and we've got some new contenders for the youth vote. We've got your party, Jezbollah. I don't know what it's going to be called. I don't know if you guys have got some ideas. How would you sell Reform UK to young people in the country?
Well, I used to be able to do that on GB News, Alex, until you stole my show. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? I could tell he was after something. But look, I think actually it's quite easy to sell reform to young people because we are the only party dedicated to actually saving Britain from being swallowed up to being some form of international airport. That's what we are. We're not a nation state right now. If you don't have control over your own borders, you're not a nation. It's quite that simple. It's young people that are hit by the grooming gangs. It's young people that are hit by being unable to access job opportunities. And it's young people that cannot get on the housing ladder, get a GP, dentist appointment, all these other things. And I tell you what, they're going to have to just throw me into a ditch because I don't think anyone in our generation will be getting pensions, put it that way. Yeah. So there's a ticking time bomb in this country. And I think it's really easy to sell a positive vision that says that we're going to, for the first time in a generation, actually ensure that those young people are put first, right, over the other nations of the world.
Same for you, Annie.
Well, I mean, exactly what Darren said. I think the issue nowadays is that we are going into, and we already have, an authoritarian government. And young people do see that as much as the elders do too. Myself, I am a law student. I'm training to become a barrister. And at the moment, I'm currently studying human rights. So on that topic, I think it's really important to remember that we can't exclude the fact that young people aren't acknowledging the issues of today's society. I say this a lot with women's safety, is like myself and my friends friends, we are scared to go up to London because we are scared what could happen to us. And that's not right.
And is that a message that cuts through with other young people? I know in Epping it's quite a big deal because of all the media attention, but is that a message that cuts through with other young people in your area?
Well, yeah, most definitely. I think, obviously, people and thefts and things like that have gone on for many years, but with these undocumented males in our country now, who we can't find, coming from completely different cultures, it's a threat. It's a threat to anybody, young and old.
And Charlotte, the same question for you. What is it about Reform UK that should attract young people?
I think that Reform UK are the only party with strong core values: family, community and country. Yeah. I think we have seen for too long the Uni Party take advantage of their power that they have over us, and I think that young people have become disadvantaged with the average age of a first-time buyer now 35. Reform UK also stand to protect the countryside, so we would only build houses on brown belt land first, and surely that is just a common sense policy. Yeah. And within South Derbyshire, where I represent Melbourne and Woodville, we have just seen the Labour-run district council that proudly represent net zero agree to remove 4,500 trees from the National Forest in order to install a battery storage farm. It is madness. So I think Reform UK, not only will we scrap net zero, it will protect the countryside for the next generation, and we will enable more people to be more successful.
There we go.
Yeah, most definitely.
Well, Darren, there's a feeling amongst many people in the country that young people are becoming a bit lawless. They're sort of running wild in our streets and they haven't got any purpose. What is it we should be doing to help young people find that purpose again?
Well, we do need to actually instill a bit of discipline in the country again. I think actually all of this talk lately about banning smacking, right? As if you, as a parent, can't make a distinction between beating 7 bells out of your child and being able to discipline them in a responsible way. We have taken my eyes off the ball. You know, I think of my grandfather's generation, and he did his national service in Korea, in the Korean War. Only time he ever went abroad, and he was so intensely proud to have done it. Those kinds of men who were fighting under the banner of the Union Jack and what that represents, the values of freedom, of democracy, of being safe from tyranny. And now we've totally lost that. People don't want to fight for this country. I think if we had a war tomorrow, no one would. And we need to change that, right? Because we have felt that distinct feeling of betrayal. We vote time and again. Throughout my entire life, we have voted for border controls, for lower migration. Every single politician has turned around and stuck 2 fingers up at her and done the opposite. So we need to instill a faith in the nation and a belief in what it is that we stand for, because we have totally lost our way. And whether or not we need to reopen the conversation about some form of national service, I don't know, Alex.
Yeah, okay. Well, Annie May, we've moved on to national service, but I mean, what do you think of that? Because I know a lot of young people during the general election, this was something that was talked about during the general election by the Conservative Party. Of course, they didn't get into power, did they? Maybe the Labour Party won't be in for much longer either, frankly. But is this a conversation we should be having? Should we get young people back into national service to restore that pride in their country?
Absolutely we should. I believe that that's one of our core British values, and one of the reasons why I align myself with Reform UK is because it stands for law, order and justice. And as a British citizen myself, I believe that if you are going to live here and you are going to commute every day and work for your family and for who you are, then you should be going off, and it should be pursued in schools. Unfortunately, they just teach more about other irrelevant topics nowadays. So yeah, no, 100%.
Well, like algebra. Do you think that you ever use algebra? Haven't used it once.
I was like 5, yeah.
Exactly. And the same question to you. Should we bring back some sort of national service?
Well, I think that Reform UK stand to be proud to be British, and we're not apologetic in that. And from my generation, I'm 25, I was born just 1999, and I think we have been indoctrinated by our teachers to some extent to apologise for our history and to not take pride in our flag. And at Derbyshire County Council, we have proudly let the colours be raised of the St George's Cross and the Union flag.
Now, a question lots of you who might be here today will send in to me at GB News is what is going on with this young, woke generation who are taking off huge amounts of time from work for silly things like anxiety. Well, that is one of the #1 things we constantly hear. We see survey after survey. In fact, there was one just about a week ago that said 67% of young girls have taken days off school because of anxiety. So I'm going to start backwards this way and start with you, Charlotte. What is it that's happening in to young people in this country where they're getting this sense of anxiety all the time? Is it the woke teachers? Is it social media? And how do we tackle it?
I think definitely social media has played a part in that now. Everyone thinks that there has to be a comparison to other peers their age. And I think that, again, Reform UK stands to represent being headstrong and knowing what you stand for. And that's something that I've done throughout my life. Being a supporter since 14, I think that as long as you know your core values of family, community and country, and they are at the forefront of my mind at every decision I make at the council to ensure that I'm sticking to what is important to me. And I think that as long as young people understand what their values are and what are important to them, they should be proud to stand up and celebrate their values.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously Charlotte's just explained that. I believe that, you know, in schools nowadays, it is completely left-wing policies. We've got students who don't even know anything about World War II, but know more about the concept of cryptocurrency, which is both important, don't get me wrong, but I do believe that British values need to be restored in schools. And until Reform UK gets in, I highly doubt that will happen, unfortunately.
Okay, Darren.
You mentioned algebra there. You're more likely to learn about the sodden alphabet soup, never mind algebra. That new flag. My mother's got epilepsy, and I have to say to her sometimes, look away, mother, look away. That flag, it's enough to cause a seizure. But look, last week I was in Israel, and actually, speaking of my mother, she says, are you quite mad? Are you quite mad? But I was in Israel last week. And I met a load of young people who were serving in the Israeli Defense Force. And these young people, there was one story about a young fella from France who went out to do his national service in Israel. A week after October 7th, he was meant to go back to France. He never made it back. Those boys spoke to me about the love of their nation, the love of their values, the values that Judaism and the values of the Israeli nation actually mean to them. And they're willing to actually put their lives on the line for it. And it was such a beautiful and encouraging sight to see. And my heart breaks for so many of them. But we in this country, instead, tell our kids not that they ought to be proud of their nation, that this nation gave the world democracy, prosperity, security. No. We hear instead that this nation was a unique evil to the world. We hear that this nation ought to be focusing on pronouns instead of a panoply of important modules within the curriculum. We hear that authors need to be cancelled. We hear that Greta Thunberg is such a rare intellect that she needs to be proselytized across the school, where kids are reporting now that they suffer nightmares every single night from a fear that the world is either going to spontaneously combust
or we're all going to drown. Well, the only thing we're drowning in is Labour's taxes.
A final question, perhaps, and start again with you, Charlotte. Censorship is something we talk about quite often now, and more so than ever, your generation is living their lives more and more online. What do you think that these new, and I call this the online censorship bill, I don't think anything about it is the online safety, because what is it making safer? Nothing, frankly. Do you think that the online censorship bill is going to have a profound impact on the way that young people can access information?
Definitely. I don't think that any information on the internet should be censored. I think we should be able to look at Truth Social and websites like that all that we want and find out those facts and information for ourselves. But I think young people need to sometimes take a step back from social media and go back to some of our grandma hobbies of learning how to grow your own food and make your own preservatives.
Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something, eh?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we have an Article 10 freedom of expression right in the United Kingdom. I believe that our great-grandfathers who fought in World War I and II fought for the freedom of this country, and the fact that we can't even say what's a woman in the House of Parliament is absolutely barbaric.
Bonkers.
I mean, our Prime Minister.
Totally balmy.
But no, I believe that censorship is harming our young people from actually speaking out of what they believe in. And that's why, like I said, I am a young person. I'm standing for Reform UK. I stand for women's rights as well. And I believe that we need more people to actually show up. I mean, my colleague, Councillor Jamie McIver, he knocked on my door one day. He said, you know, would you like to join Reform, saying about an election? They took me seriously. They showed me that they incore British values, and that is something that made me and my whole family really relative too. So.
And we've seen so much snobbery aimed at the young people elected in this party. I think I've seen that from the media more so than any other party. But yes. Same question to you, Dan.
Oh yeah, we're thick and uneducated. Well, I don't need a degree in gender studies, do I, to be an intellect. But look, very, very briefly, and actually empowering Ofcom to be able to censor speech online. They've already censored me speech on GB News, and now they're given the tools by the stupid Tories and emboldened by the Labour Party. Well, it's reckless in the extreme, and that's why the Boris betrayal should never, ever be forgotten or forgiven.
One word answer, because I've got 10 seconds. Given the news about a senior cabinet member today, should we teach young people more about their taxes? Yes or no, Charlotte?
Absolutely, we should.
Absolutely. Pierre can do it himself.
Fantastic. Thank you all so much for having me today. Come and watch my show tomorrow. Alex Armstrong tonight, 9 p.m. Darren Grimes, Annie May, Charlotte Hill. Thank you all so much. And please give a lot of support to your young politicians of the future.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
And then you go around the back. There we go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, last week on my chairman's tour, I was at an incredible event in Cwmbran, which was superbly organised by our campaign director for Wales, David Thomas, who is doing an amazing job. The atmosphere, I have to tell you, was absolutely electric, and it was apparent to me that what the Welsh people want is change. Wales has been left behind in so many ways by successive governments. All the indices, such as poverty and deprivation and educational achievements and living standards, are far below the rest of the United Kingdom. And we in Reform UK are determined to change that. We need parity across the United Kingdom. Now, whilst I was in Wales, I met a fantastic member of our team. She is a member of the Senedd for South Wales East. She defected to Reform UK earlier this year. Now, at the time, she said she could no longer justify decisions her former party had made when she was talking to voters on the doorstep. She really is a breath of fresh air. She's passionate, she's articulate, and ladies and gentlemen, she will always put the Welsh people first. Let's see her story.
Yes, I'm happy days here. I'm really happy. So that's it. That's all there is left of it.
Hi, I'm Laura Ann Jones, member of the Senedd for South Wales East. I'm a farmer's daughter. I often heard growing up, what was wrong with farming, what was going on. I wanted to fix it, and I couldn't understand why no one was sticking up for farmers locally in the way I wanted them to, and the way my community wanted them to, so that's what motivated me to get into politics. I was a member of the Conservative Party for 31 years, but it just became a party that I didn't recognise anymore. I feel extremely let down by it. And it got to the point where I couldn't defend them on the doorsteps anymore, and I couldn't defend them to our own members. The Conservatives seem to have lost any sense of direction or purpose, and I don't know what they stand for anymore, and not many people do. They were too scared to talk about the things that mattered to people and the things that were breaking up our country. It really feels like Reform are the party that is bringing like-minded people together from across the political spectrum. It's great to be part of a party that's just got the life and the vigour and the energy now that I know that will make us succeed and bring our country back to where it should be.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Reform UK member of the Senedd for South Wales East, Laura Ann Jones.
Prynhawn, good afternoon, conference. Firstly, I'm just going to start by apologising for being a bit late on stage. Being Welsh, I could only do 20 miles an hour. But wow, I mean, it's fantastic to see so many people here. I mean, wow, this is incredible. And to see so many people from Wales whose faces I recognise, really, really good. But it's also a real honour to be standing here as your first Reform Welsh member of the Senedd. I will be your voice in the Welsh Parliament, and I intend to be just that, your voice. For those who don't know, we have massive elections in Wales next May for the Senedd. And for the first time in 26 years, the polls are showing that there will finally be a new Welsh government in the Bay next May, a Reform government. Next year, in 2026, the silent majority will rise, and we will take our country back. Our numbers are swelling by the day. The polls are consistently in our favour, and optimism is in the air. It feels electric today, doesn't it? And I am thrilled to be part of a movement that is going to fix our nation and restore pride in every corner of our great country. In 2023, Keir Starmer famously spoke of Wales as being his blueprint for what Labour could do in the United Kingdom. My goodness, well, look what it's delivered. We have, after just 1 year of his train wreck of a government, we are seeing swathes of unvetted men entering our country and being rewarded for it. We're seeing vulnerable pensioners forced to freeze last year, farming families at risk of losing the land their families have worked for generations, and small businesses closing left, right, and centre, strangled by tax rises and national insurance rises. And now freedom of speech is under attack. Britain feels more like a police state every single day. And we've had enough. The people of Wales and Britain have had enough. Conference, for those of you outside of Wales, you've now had a taste of what we have had to endure for 26 long years. 26 years of failure, 26 of Labour not delivering, and 26 years of languishing on the bottom of every league table in health, in education, in poverty. And as a Welsh person, I can tell you that is heartbreaking. For too long, Labour have taken your votes for granted. They have sat back and let Wales become the poor man of Britain. And Labour, propped up by Plaid Cymru, are ruining Wales. Instead of ambition to improve our lot and to make Wales a land of opportunity, Welsh Labour has wasted millions of pounds on their pet projects, from the 20-mile-an-hour fiasco to their so-called nation of sanctuary. And I can tell you now, a reform government would scrap that immediately. Every time that Labour want to squander your money, Plaid Cymru stand by their side and cheer them on. Both have failed Wales. But conference, friends, the tide is turning. Wales has had enough. To the BBC, media, and Luned and her ilk, today we're sending a strong message. Reform is here to stay. We are ready to take the reins, and your time is up. Gone are the days when you could sit a red rosette on a donkey and win in Wales. Wales is hungry for that change, and it wants Reform UK. 8 months from now, we will deliver that change and start delivering the reform that people of Wales so desperately want and need. Reform's priorities are the people's priorities. But we will need all feet on the ground to campaign hard to show that we are serious and that we are ready for government. We will have policies made in Wales for Wales, and I'm excited to show some of them with you soon. Reform will put Welsh families and veterans first in the queue for housing, first in the queue for support, not illegal immigrants. Our leaders' plans for mass deportations is spot on. Reform are the only party that Britain trusts to do this. A Reform government will scrap the nation of sanctuary, as I said, and close those asylum hotels. And we won't betray our pensioners, and we will support our farmers. Now let me speak from the heart. I'm a farmer's daughter. I grew up knowing the value of hard work, of caring for land, for animals, and I know the hard work it takes to put food on the table. And I will not stand by and watch Labour wreck our farms and rural communities any longer. It's no wonder so many farmers are now coming to Reform. There's a distinct lack of understanding of our countryside by Labour, and in fact, they showed disdain for it, punishing them at every turn, unable to understand that if there are no farmers, there are no food. Farmers are the backbone of Wales. We recognise this as a party, and a Reform government will support you to do what you do best, farmers: produce food. We will scrap the family farm tax. We will tackle TB with the urgency and tough decisions it requires. And we will deliver a farming scheme that centres around food production, not tree planting quotas. And we will tackle rural crime in all of Wales, which is becoming more commonplace and more organised. As for our economy, for too long now, we have been slowed down by excessive taxes, by a government that hates motorists, costing our economy millions. Conference, let's reverse that 20-mile-an-hour limit and get Wales moving again. Let's attract the inward investment, the jobs, the tourism that we so desperately need. Let's build that M4 relief road. Conference, let's make the Welsh dragon roar once more. And unlike Labour, this isn't just about South Wales. We will support those from North, East, West Wales every step of the way. From Bangor to Wrexham, from Aberystwyth to Monmouthshire, we've got your back. We will invest in that infrastructure, public services and facilities right across Wales. For too long, too many corners of our nation have been forgotten. We will end that postcode lottery. It shouldn't matter where you live in Wales. You should enjoy the same care and opportunities and facilities as everyone else. I'm sure there are people from Wales clapping right there. We will ensure we will host world-class sporting events, inspire the next generation, and put Wales on the map for positive reasons, showcasing all that our beautiful country has to offer, and bringing with it not only pride in our sports teams, but an investment and opportunity to every community across Wales, as well as, of course, the enormous preventative health benefits that would bring. And let me be clear, a reform government in Wales will cut waste to enable us to do this, and what a lot of waste there is. We will certainly not be spending £5 million planting trees in Uganda, whilst homelessness is at a record high on our Welsh streets. We will not be spending £10 million on foreign offices, whilst children with disabilities and additional learning needs are not getting the support in our classrooms that they need. Education is the key that will unlock a better life for all our young people, and we should be actively preparing our workforces of the future for the future. Let's learn the lessons from English success in the classroom rather than splash millions of pounds trying to do things differently just for the sake of it because of some backward separatist attitude. Children deserve to come out of education with skills for life, to be inspired, not indoctrinated. In Wales, Labour, propped up by Plaid, have been far too focused on their ideological crusade to indoctrinate our children, to focus on what really matters. Exposing 5-year-olds to reading materials implying that when they are born, they can choose what sex they can be, is not going to help them. It's wrong, it's dangerous, and it needs to stop. Let our children be children, and we will protect women and girls' rights, protect women's spaces, protect women's sport. End of story. Same applies with our Welsh NHS, and we will also drive down the waiting list. We will cut the ambulance delays and A&E times. We will deliver better cancer care right across Wales. And as Richard Tice said last week, we need more doctors and nurses, fewer managers, and better leadership. We will start the most ambitious plan of GP surgery building since Anira and Bevan built the NHS, so every family can access the healthcare that they need. We will build an NHS once again that the people of Wales can be proud of. And lastly, thank you. And lastly, much to the dismay of the Tories, let me make this absolutely clear. We are against 36 more politicians in the Senedd. It's all about priorities, and Labour and Plaid are all wrong. We need to try and make the Senedd work for the people of Wales. But if it doesn't, we need to question whether the Senedd is really adding value to Wales. As I travel around Wales now, I'm seeing more and more flags up. I love it. Let's see more. Let's be proud of our country. Let's celebrate and promote our world-renowned produce, our unique and rich heritage, our culture, our language. Let's put Wales on the map for the right reasons. So I ask you today, conference, please come and help us in Wales. Lend us your time, your energy, your passion. These elections are vital for Wales, yes, for Britain and for reform. We may be 4 nations, but we are one united kingdom. Britain is crying out for Nigel Farage as First Minister, and Wales too needs and deserves a reform government next May. And together, we can deliver that. Diolch.
Told you she's brilliant, isn't she? And yes, you are right. We are one united kingdom. So from Wales to Scotland now. Our next speaker was a former member of the Scottish Conservatives. He previously served as Shadow Cabinet Secretary for Transport, for Infrastructure and Connectivity. He defected to Reform UK last week in a body blow to the Tories, becoming the first MSP under Nigel's leadership. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Graham Simpson, MSP.
Well, good afternoon. How is everyone? Good, good. And I'm feeling good as well, because if this was a Conservative Party conference, I'm telling you, the Welsh and Scottish slots, this hall would be half empty, perhaps not even that. So that shows that we're a truly United Kingdom party. And I can tell Laura, and what a fantastic speech that was, by the way, if she thinks things are bad in Wales. Just saying, just saying. So it is good to be here speaking with you. It's just over a week since I left the Scottish Conservatives, which is why there wasn't a video of me. I'm quite relieved about that. We didn't have time to do one. That's a good thing. I have to say the response to me from my former party leaving was abuse. But that just shows that they're rattled. They feel threatened, and so they should. They didn't stop the boats, and they haven't rolled back on net zero. Now, we have a real chance of making a breakthrough in Wales and in Scotland, and the impact of that will be felt throughout the UK. Now, despite my demeanour, I try to be a positive guy. I might not look it some of the time, and I do think defecting is a terrible word. It sounds negative, treacherous almost, but I've seen my move as a positive. I haven't so much defected, I've just switched sides. And do you know what? I've gone to the only party that is on the up in Scotland. The polls show it. Reform is the only party that is increasing its share of the vote. And why is that? Because Reform represents millions of people who feel ignored by the establishment and the other political parties. The voters who turned out in droves to support our excellent candidate Ross Lambie in the Hamilton by-election did so because they're fed up. Now, Ross, are you here? Stand up, Ross. There he is. That just shows what we can do in Scotland. The voters in Scotland see public services creaking at the seams under the SNP, and they want change. They see a Labour government that is making things worse for the very people they purport to represent. And we are attracting support from all over. We are the real People's Party. Now, I represented the Scottish Conservatives for 10 years as a councillor, and since 2016 as an MSP. It's been a privilege and an honour, and just as it's a privilege and an honour to now represent reform. Next year's election presents us with a huge opportunity to shake things up in Scotland and Wales. Let me tell you a bit about Scotland. I was born there in Aberdeen. Scotland is a great place to live, but things are going wrong, and unfortunately, the normal rules of politics don't apply in Scotland. Usually, if a government fails, they get voted out. Not so in Scotland, where the SNP will have been in power next year for 19 years and have created a culture of failure which is accepted. But it's not acceptable, and we must fight to change it. It's not acceptable that we have record NHS waiting times. A&E performance hit historic lows with only 61.2% of patients seen within the 12-week outpatient target as of March this year. Over 5,000 patients waited for more than 2 years for treatment. 2 years, can you imagine that? In some hospitals, patients wait over 12 hours to be seen, staff shortages are chronic, morale is low, and the maintenance backlog has ballooned to over £1 billion. It is not acceptable that so many people struggle to get a GP appointment, but it's not surprising as the estimated number of whole-time equivalent GPs has fallen. Proposals to support GPs with more nurses and other specialists have moved more slowly than planned, and people report finding it more difficult to access care. Promises of an app, which is available to some patients in England, have not materialised because, of course, the SNP think they can make a better app. They just haven't got around to it, and it won't be better. Cancer treatment times have been missed year after year. The 62-day standard for beginning treatment after diagnosis is routinely breached. In a country with world-class medical talent, this is a failure of leadership. It's no wonder that health is the #1 concern for people. It's also not acceptable that we have a mental health crisis for young people, with thousands on the waiting list for treatment. Behind every statistic is a story of suffering, of lives put on hold, of families left in limbo. It's not acceptable that the poverty-related attainment gap in education has widened, despite closing it being Nicola Sturgeon's guiding mission. That probably explains it. Scotland once prided itself on a world-class education system. Today, international rankings show a steady fall in literacy and numeracy. Teachers are overworked, under-resourced, and increasingly disillusioned. The rhetoric is progressive from the SNP, the outcomes are regressive. Nor is it acceptable that we still have the worst drug death rate in Europe and have had for 7 years in a row. Deaths last year hit an astonishing 1,017. Imagine that. It's appalling. And it's not acceptable that our SNP-run ferry service, the equivalent of buses for islanders, is in such a mess, with 2 ferries being built at the SNP-run yard, years late, massively over budget, and with only one of them delivered, and the future of the yard uncertain at best. The duty of any government is to make life better for its people, especially the worst off. Now, I've tried not to hit you with too many statistics, because statistics are not much help if you're one of the 10,360 children in Scotland who are living in temporary accommodation. That's the highest number on record, and it reflects a 149% increase since 2014. A couple of more stats there, but they're important. Let me talk to you about that for a minute, because we have a nationally declared housing emergency in Scotland. A report titled In Their Own Words captured the lived experiences of these children, and it revealed unsafe environments with children reported witnessing violence, including stabbings near their temporary homes, health impacts where poor conditions led to hospitalisation and severe weight loss in vulnerable children, and educational disruption with long commutes to school and noisy living spaces causing exhaustion and poor school performance. Shelter Scotland described the situation as a national shame, arguing that temporary accommodation should be a stepping stone out of crisis, not a new crisis in itself. This week, the Housing Secretary's response to the housing emergency was, thankfully, to agree with me on bringing in AWAB's law in Scotland to tackle damp and mould in rented homes, and also agree with me on what should be exempt from ruinous SNP rent controls. What about crime? The most recent stats available show overall crime is up on the year before. The number of rapes and attempted rapes in Scotland rose by 15% last year. Since 2021, the number of attack reports has increased by 21%. The total number of sexual offences grew by 5% in the most recent year. Domestic abuse reports were up 26%, and shoplifting up 17%. Police are overstretched, cop shops are crumbling. It's a thin blue line in Scotland. I hope I haven't depressed you too much, because you know, I do often get accused of looking glum, but most of you can cheer up, because for all this progress under the SNP, we, not you, get to pay the highest taxes in the UK. Brilliant, isn't it? Now, Scotland needs a recovery government, and we have a duty to make sure it happens by getting the SNP out. The Scottish Government isn't responsible for everything in Scotland, but it's responsible for a lot. All the things that I've mentioned, like health, education, transport, housing, and I forgot to mention hollowed out local government, all come under its remit. And in all these areas, the SNP has failed. We're at a pivotal point, not just for the UK, but for Scotland. So we need that recovery government, and we need next year's elections to be about repairing our public services. We're already brimming with ideas on how to improve life for Scots. And if you'll just indulge me, I can give you some. On health, expand hospital at home, delivering hospital-level care in patients' homes, reducing pressure on acute wards. Get that app up and running so people can manage appointments, access records, and find local services. How about investing in prevention? That might be a good idea. Pool resources from public health, education, and local councils. Fund community-based screening, lifestyle coaching, and school health programs so that people don't end up at the doctor in the first place. In education, why don't we have a national learner profile system? Because traditional qualifications, important as they are, often ignore achievements outside the classroom. People could have a lifelong record of academic, vocational, and personal development, include volunteering, creative work, and leadership roles. Secondly, we often talk about empowering schools, so why not allow them to co-design some of their curriculum with local authorities, communities, and employers? That could include Gaelic medium education, regional history, or industry-linked modules. Transport's a passion of mine. It often doesn't work as well as it should. So why not create a national integrated transport card? Scotland's fragmented ticketing across rail, bus, and ferry networks creates barriers to seamless travel. So why not have a single smart card or app usable across all public transport models? include discounts for low-income users and young people. These are just ideas, but ideas are where you start. The only way that Scotland can move on is by getting the SNP out. We need a government that is obsessed with public services, not nationalism. A government that wants to serve the people and not themselves. Scotland deserves... We deserve a government that listens, learns and leads, a government that puts people before party, a government that treats public services not as political props, but as sacred trusts. The time for excuses is over. The time for change is now. It's time for real reform. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much to Graham. Look, at Reform UK, we are really passionate about every constituent part of the United Kingdom. And I personally, as chairman, have underlined that by ensuring that both countries were top of the list on my chairman's tour. Indeed, it started in Edinburgh in June of this year when I was invited by our amazing campaign director for Scotland. Please put your hands together and thank Martin Green, who is doing an amazing job in Scotland. And actually, whilst I'm talking about this, please give a round of applause to everyone who is working so hard in Scotland, in Wales, and across the United Kingdom. Well, time to catch up with JK. JK, where are you?
I'm here, I have to say, but is this working, is it? It is working. How are you? Are you all right?
Where are you?
I'm over here, love. Think, so, over here. Look, here.
Where?
Left, straight in front of you. No, you idiot, this way. Look left.
I can't see you. You carry on.
No, look, what do you mean you can't see me? Put me on.
Where?
Here we are.
Right.
Over
Where?
here. Over here.
Oh, there you are. See you at the back. You need to stand up.
I am standing up.
Oh.
Did you have a nice lunch? Because I spent 48 minutes sitting on a bus, running around.
I had a cold sausage and a potato.
Absolutely no comment, my friends. Now, getting amongst everybody has been really important for Reform this year. As I've said to you throughout the day, people come to party conferences and they sit and they listen to speeches and it's like, oh God, it's lunchtime. It was fascinating out the back. There's a real vibe. We wanted to get more of a feeling about what today means. I'm joined by Mick. How are you, Mick?
I'm fine.
Mick used to be how many years as a policeman?
I was 10.5 years as a police officer before I was pensioned off with the injury on duty.
People like you should have more respect than they do. Let me ask you. It's true. 2 questions. The first is quite direct. What do you make of the police force we have in this country nowadays?
I think the police are fantastic. I think the police do a fantastic job, especially under the circumstances that I have to work on at the moment. And they're not funded enough. They don't get enough wages. And there's not enough money to do the job that they need to do. And at the moment, they're now policing tweets instead of crime. I don't understand.
Imagine that, where you get arrested and 31 months in jail for something you wrote, but you can actually get away with other things and the police don't turn up. Do you think the police get bad publicity at the moment? Is it the people above them, the government in effect?
Well, yes, it is. I mean, when somebody can have a tweet in America, and they're not even English, they're Irish, and they come over here and they get arrested by 5 men with machine guns at Heathrow Airport. There's something seriously wrong with the country, isn't there?
There is, which led you, after a stellar police career, ended, as you said, by injury in service, to get involved with the Reform. You're part of the Gateshead local community. What does Reform mean to the people of the North East?
Well, we need to get the Labour Party out of Gateshead. We've got a £650 million debt. There's 94% of the budget gets spent on adult care and children. And we really need to cut down on the waste that's being spent up there. And we really need to get organised. I mean, like the lady said earlier, you know, you put a red rose on a donkey and it'll get elected. It's the same. It's the same in Newcastle and Gateshead.
Well, listen, so many people, David, across the country. I don't know if you've managed to share the breaking news. It's sort of on a knife edge from London. As we know already, Lucy Powell, the leader of the House of Commons, has been fired. Ian Murray, the Scottish Secretary, has been fired. The big news, which is a rumour at the moment, is that Yvette Cooper could be the next to go from the Home Office. That is not. Hold on. That is not confirmed at the moment, but I can tell you that they're talking about it. And watch this for a cheer. There's also a rumour, my friends, that Bridget Phillipson could be toast. So, the chairman will now take the reins, having had his sausage for lunch. Ta-ra from us!
Thank you very much indeed, JK. Of course, unconfirmed rumours there. We'll bring you the latest as and when we get it. What I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this government is in free fall. They are very frightened about the rise of Reform UK, and I'm telling you, a general election cannot come soon enough. Now, I mentioned earlier on that this party is actually being built from the ground up. And for us to succeed and become that party of government, we have to prove that we are more than competent at council level. And I have to tell you, I've visited our councils. The progress we have made is unbelievable. Reform UK now controls 12 councils across the country. We fully control 9 of those. We also have another 3 by minority. I am going to read them out because the work they are doing is so extraordinary. Our councils, ladies and gentlemen, are Kent, Lancashire, Derbyshire, Lincolnshire, Staffordshire, West Northamptonshire, North Northamptonshire, County Durham, Worcestershire, Leicestershire, Warwickshire, and Nottinghamshire. And these are what I like to call turquoise territories. Well, that brings me nicely to introduce our next session. It's called Cleaning Up Our Councils. I'm delighted to welcome our Director of Local Government, Councillor Jamie McIver.
Reformers! Please welcome to the stage Councillor Stephen Atkinson, Councillor Lyndon Ken Cameron, Councillor George Finch, and Councillor Ian Cooper.
Thank you.
Take a seat, because you know when you're a council leader you don't get to sit down much, so especially at conference. Everyone having a good conference?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. Love
So,
it.
we've just heard from some incredible speakers in Wales, where we're going to win. We've heard from our speakers in Scotland, where we're going to win.
Yeah.
But guess what happened in England in May? We won Reform!
Yeah.
And with me are 4 leaders of our exceptional councils. And, you know, we are told by so many people that don't know what they're talking about that Reform are just going to get in and they don't have a plan. Reform are going to get in and they don't know what they're doing. In fact, I heard somebody say, Reform haven't got a clue. Well, I tell you something. We've been having a look, haven't we, leaders? And it turns out, in case anybody hasn't already realised, the Tory party didn't have a clue, the Labour Party didn't have a clue, and the Liberal Democrats, who are they? So, let's get straight to it. Stephen, I'm going to start with you as one of our esteemed leaders on the LGA2. Lancashire County Council, tell me something you've done, because I think I might be right in saying the previous lot did nothing.
You're right, Jamie. They were passive. And we had, Nigel Farage said, we'll get a chance to look under the bonnet. And we went into the storeroom and found 3 artificial intelligence cameras, £10,000 each, sat on a shelf for 18 months. We put them on a car the next day. They are analysing potholes, sending the order to the contractor. And then we thought, the signs haven't been cleaned for 25 years. We've cleaned 4,000 signs and cut the vegetation back. Civic pride, pride in place. So yesterday we agreed that we would clean every war memorial before Armistice Day in November this year. And innovation. We have a new machine that grinds the road, cleans the tar and relays it. No landfill costs, instant repairs. This is in 3 months, and we're going to do much, much more. Thank you, Jamie.
Well, I mean, Lancashire, you're doing an amazing job. Now, as an Essex boy, nothing makes me more delighted than going to Blue Water shopping. But what I love even more is when I go over the Dartford Bridge, I feel liberated because I am in a turquoise-controlled territory. Ladies and gentlemen, the Garden of England, Kent County Council, reform-controlled. And Lyndon, the same question to you. What have you done?
Well, Jamie, what we're about to do is undeclare the climate emergency that was declared in Kent in 2019. It no longer exists in Kent, and by undeclaring the climate emergency, that means we can take out all the net zero commitments that were written in to the Constitution. We've started it already. We're going to save over the next 4 years 30-odd million quid on property modifications that we're not going to make. We're not going to spend 7 million quid on transitioning the fleet of Kent County Council vehicles from petrol and diesel to electric. And we're not moving home. There was a plan in place for us to leave County Hall, which has historically been the home of Kent County Council for goodness knows how many years, and move across the road and refurbish another building. Why should we do that with LGR coming down the road? We might not exist in 2 years' time. What a waste of money that would have been. So I've scrapped that too.
Well, it sounds like... Sounds to me like the party of common sense is alive and well in Kent. And you know why? Because when you vote reform, you get...
Reform.
Amen. George, Councillor Finch, sorry. I know George as George because me and George speak regularly. And one thing I'll say, George, your premiership as leader hasn't quite been the same length of time as some of the others on the panel this afternoon, but actually, you're doing just as much. George, you have particularly been launched into reform on a very national stage because of our amazing Lawless Britain campaign. What's something that you've been able to do?
So, in Nuneaton and Bedworth in particular, we have a crime problem. People are not safe in our town centres, in our villages. They don't feel safe going to the pub, speaking to people on the... when I speak to people on the doorstep, they tell me, I can't go out anymore. And I thought, I can't do that. I've had enough. So we launched at a press conference a week ago, Recalibrating Warwickshire, which puts us as councillors at the helm of decision-making. We've had a few hiccups there with powers being given from non-elected bureaucrats to the elected members, but we, at every opportunity, are going forward and, as councillors, doing what we need to do to govern. But what we did in Recalibrating Warwickshire was create community cohesion units, which brings people together, putting actually police back on the streets, create a quarterly crime surgeries. The Conservatives had an agenda of net zero, and they wanted, if they won, they were going to allocate £17 million on making a building, Old Shire Hall, which is an old county hall. They wanted to spend £17 million on making that net zero. Why didn't we put that? Why didn't they allocate or prioritise that on crime? Why didn't they prioritise that on send children? That's the problem with local government, is their priorities are wrong. Yes, we've had a bit of a, in Warwickshire, we've had hurdles, but that's life. But what we're seeing now is fresh, new leadership with a new cabinet, Stephen Shaw as deputy. It's not a one-man band. but we're working together, giving our feet into the table and finding where these bodies are buried. I'm quite worried we're going to find some crazy stuff, but we have to start looking at cutting or reducing net zero, DEI, especially the trade unions as well.
Councillor Finch, everybody. And Ian, coming to you, so I'm conscious of time. We've heard the Tories go on and on and on about how they're on the side of farmers, forgetting for 14 years they did nothing for them. But literally within weeks of being leader of Staffordshire County Council, farmers are a priority.
Absolutely. In the 3 months period, I mean, it seems such a long time now, doesn't it, 3 months, but crikey me, we've done so many things, but the biggest one, I think, and I'm most proud of, is the fact the Tories used to bang on about the fact they looked after farms and how good they are for the environment and everything else. We had over 90 county farms. They sold them off in large quantities, leaving us with 63. We have now made sure that these farms are safe and secure and will not be used for best electrical sites, solar farms, battery farms, and wind farms. So we're putting farming back on the agenda in Staffordshire.
And it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it, that the county in the middle of England is going to put its farmers first.
We are the beating heart of England.
I think there's a few other people that might say that it was them, but let's just say it's the Midlands, although we all know the only way is Essex. But more importantly, what I really want us to be able to share is how the sheer incompetence of the previous administrations and how we've seen the Labour government get in power and spend all their time moaning about the previous government. And don't get me wrong, they deserve to say a few words on it. But let's be real. What we are doing, Stephen, is we're not going on about what they've not done and how much of a mess they've left us in. We're just getting on and delivering.
Jamie, the previous administrations have been passive, and the officers in Lancashire at least have found this as a breath of fresh air. We're doing stuff that is needed doing for 20 years to make the councils more efficient, more focused, and we ask ourselves every day this question: does it improve the lives of residents? And if it doesn't, why are we doing it? And I think that's the key.
And that is what people voted for. Now, Lyndon, one of the things that made me very happy when I came and met you on our Doge trip, just straight after you'd become leader, was I saw County Hall. There was a St George's Red Cross and a Union flag and the flag of Kent as a county. Lyndon, civic pride, being proud of our country, that's at the heart of everything we're doing at Reform, isn't it?
It really is. And when I took over, I walked into the council chamber and I saw the flag of Ukraine right there in the council chamber, and the flag of Kent was outside the door of the council chamber. And immediately I thought, we've got to switch this around. Of course, I have utmost sympathy for Ukraine and the terrible thing the people have been going through for the last 3 years. However, what I said to my councillors is, we are here to serve the people of Kent, not the people of Kyiv, the people of Kent.
And Ian, coming to you, I know that you've got one of the most beautiful county halls, gorgeous historic building, makes you proud to be British when you see it, that Victorian era. But unfortunately, there's a bit of a thing at the moment where we're going to be carving up historic counties into these awful meaningless units. In terms of, we talk about pride of country, but there is such a thing as pride of county, isn't there?
There is indeed, and everybody here is very proud of the county that they come from. If you go to Staffordshire and you go into the county buildings, we have this fabulous 1895 Victorian building. It's not just bricks and mortar, it is the heart and the essence of the county. It represents local people and the local community. And to see things like this being potentially destroyed by this government, I think is an horrendous crime.
And I think one thing, amen, by the way. Now, something that concerns me, George, it concerns, I think, everyone in this panel, everybody in this room, is, of course, illegal migration to this country, the pressure on our population. What we don't hear enough is about how local government is actually having to, in some cases, foot the bill, but often just simply facilitate enormous pressure, which is, frankly, a distraction from our own people. So when we look at things like SEN, adult social care, are you seeing, George, the impact that the added pressures on our counties and, frankly, a lack of support from the government to deal with any of this?
Yeah, Jamie, it is simple. Unfortunately, Warwickshire County Council is in a SEN deficit, of £87 million. We spend £48 million a year on home-to-school transport. Next year, that fee of SEND provision goes up to £147 million. I predict in a few years' time that councils will be knocking on, well, it might be Reform's door, given what's just happened today. But my point goes is the governments are not helping local governments. We need more money. County councils should not be footing the bill for the SEND provision, and that this is the problem. It's their priorities. They are not listening to the people on the ground that are crying out for homeschool transport, children with SEND needs, educational healthcare plans. They need that support. And yes, it is increasing demand, and we do need to look at what's going on there. But what we're seeing is that national government are doing nothing. They are saying, let local government deal with it. They're going to get turned into unitary councils anyway. We'll give them a bit of a payout, see what happens. But it's not good enough, and this is why in September we have to wait for the reforms that are going through for the education and SEND reforms, for them to give us the tools to actually make the Warwickshire better and other councils better, because as the portfolio holder for children and families, I see it. The children need that support.
And I think that's the problem, isn't it? Local government has just been the dumping ground for anything the government doesn't want to do. That's one thing a reform government won't do, because that has got to be one of the most unpatriotic things to do, is to dump major, major things on local government without the resources to deal with it. Stephen, coming to you, I think that fits nicely with a bit of our LGA work.
Well, I think what happens in Westminster is it creates obligations on local government and it doesn't give local government the funding. And we're having to run ever faster and faster for some policies that just don't make sense. And one policy that doesn't make sense is houses of multiple occupation. We have over 3,500 people through a government contract who've been brought into Lancashire. And that means that normal folk are moved out. The first email I had was a nurse with 4 school-aged children, a single mum, contributing, was given an eviction notice. We are seeing this everywhere. So what's happening is British folk are fed up of being at the back of the queue, and we need a reform government to fix that problem.
You're absolutely right. And it won't be the first time you hear this. This government is not on the side of the British people, but if you live in a reform-controlled county and are unitaries, you know that the British people, the county residents, are always going to be the people we're thinking about when we're making these decisions. Now, thank you to our amazing panel. The message I want to leave with you all is very straightforward. We have got some of the most skilled, talented people in our local government family. They are working round the clock. And I can assure you that as we prepare to put Nigel Farage into 10 Downing Street with a reform government, it will be because we will be shouting and screaming about the achievements of the administrations in our councils. Please give them a big round of applause. So if you live in a reform-controlled county, you can look forward to some amazing reform. And if you don't live in a Reform UK-controlled county, then get yourself on a ballot paper, get yourself elected, and at the next conference, you'll be on a panel up here with me. Thank you, conference.
Well, aren't they truly amazing? I'm so proud of all of our councillors and our councils around the country. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are setting the political agenda. I have some breaking news for you. Nothing stops. Yvette Cooper is Foreign Secretary. It gets worse. Shabana Mahmood is the Home Secretary. And wait for this one. The rumour is David Lammy is going to be Deputy Prime Minister. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the Labour government. Wave them bye-bye. I also have some other news. They have just conducted polls. This is the projected result in Ashton-under-Lyne. This is Angela Rayner's seat. Labour predicted to get 27%. Reform UK projected to get 41%, a Reform gain. What a day of amazing and very fast-moving news. Well, last week, we announced one of our biggest policy platforms. It's called Operation Restoring Justice, and it details how Reform UK will tackle illegal immigration in this country once and for all. It is time we ended the empty rhetoric of smashing the gangs, stopping the boats, and Reform UK will see to this. And overseeing this vital policy is a friend and colleague of mine. Of course, he was my predecessor as chairman of Reform UK. Before we meet him, let's see his story.
We have all the momentum in British politics, and we are just getting started. Working people in Britain feel betrayed. They see the nation and the culture that we love being robbed from underneath them. There's little doubt that the United Kingdom is being invaded. In fact, more people have arrived on our beaches illegally over the last 8 years than stormed the beaches of Normandy on D-Day. A reformed government will ensure that the United Kingdom will once again be a proud sovereign nation with full control of its borders. One in which our country is secure, one in which our people are prosperous, and one in which Britain is powerful again. And we will leave a Britain for our children of which we can be proud. Thank you very much, Reform UK.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Reform UK board member and head of Doge, Zia Youssef.
Hello, Reform UK. It's so good to be back in Birmingham. And what a year it has been. Just look at what we've achieved together. In 14 and a half months, Reform has gone from 14% support to 35%. From being dismissed as outsiders, well, if you were going to applaud that, let me tell you this, from being dismissed as outsiders, we have now led in 100 national opinion polls in a row. We've gone from no branches in the country to almost 500. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Nigel Farage is the bookmaker's favourite to be the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. You know, on May the 1st, we delivered what can only be described as the most historic set of local election results in our lifetimes. Across English towns, villages, and cities, Reform surged. The century-long stranglehold of the two old parties in British politics was decisively broken. And suddenly, there was hope again for our country. And let me tell you, this is just the beginning. Because we're on the brink of drawing to a close a tragic era in this country's history. An era in which British people have been made second-class citizens in their own country. An era in which those who have played by the rules their whole lives are robbed by the state to pay for those who break them. An era in which a single mum works 2 jobs and struggles to find the money for rent, yet an illegal migrant who arrives on our beaches uninvited is put up in the house next door at her expense. An era in which our young people are robbed of opportunity at every level, from jobs to housing. An era when clueless politicians inflict the highest energy costs in the world on British people through the mad net zero religion. An era in which those who set their alarm clocks and strive are squeezed, crushed, and demoralized. Well, that era will shortly come to a close. The era of British decline will soon be at an end. Thanks to your hard work, soon we will see Nigel Farage take to the podium at number 10 Downing Street, and he will usher in a new era of prosperity for the United Kingdom. To do that, we must start with securing our borders and restoring our sovereignty. That means ending the tyranny of foreign courts and stopping the invasion of our country. Things have become intolerable. The fact that the UK has still not even left the ECHR is to the eternal shame of the political class. An illegal immigrant from Iraq named Asso Mohammed Ibrahim, driving while disqualified, killed a 12-year-old girl in a hit and run. He left her dying under the wheels of his car and fled the scene. The poor girl's father had to make the heart-wrenching decision to turn off his daughter's life support machine hours after the crash. And yet the most senior judges at the Immigration and Asylum Tribunal prevented her killer from being deported, citing Article 8 of the ECHR. Her grief-stricken father gave a statement to the BBC, and I want to read it to you. You work hard, play by the rules, pay your taxes, and this is how you get treated. What does that say about politicians, our leaders, and the legal system? It's a joke. How can he say he's deprived of a right to a family life? The only person deprived of a family life is me. Amy was my only family. They're obsessed with the rights of others from Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Iraq. Where are my human rights? And do you know when that was? That was in 2010. 2010. The Tories had just begun their 14 years in power. They promised to deal with this. And yet here we are, 15 years on. Many more have been killed, raped, and robbed by people who came to this country illegally. But I promise you this, when Nigel becomes our Prime Minister, gone will be the days when your rights are trampled in service of foreign citizens. Under a reformed government, His Majesty's Parliament will be sovereign, and the rights of the great British people will reign supreme. For decades now, successive Tory and Labour governments have promised, right? They promised to get tough on illegal immigration. And yet, year after year, tens of thousands of fighting-age males have arrived on our beaches. We know the United Kingdom is being invaded. In fact, more people have arrived on our beaches illegally over the last 8 years than stormed the beaches of Normandy on D-Day. And they have been rewarded for this by a treacherous political class that puts them up in hotels at the British taxpayers' expense. They're given free meals, free healthcare, free TV licenses, and even free trips to the safari park and to the cinema. Even those who commit heinous crimes are routinely defended by so-called human rights lawyers who succeed in preventing even convicted rapist illegal migrants from being deported from this country, all thanks to a legal system that prioritizes the rights of foreign citizens over our own. While the patience of the British people is now exhausted. We are unwilling to accept that Britain's border should be open and undefended, unwilling to accept that Britain must surrender its sovereignty to foreign courts, unwilling to accept that our own veterans who served our nation with valor and distinction be evicted from their homes to house fighting-age males from Iraq and Afghanistan who turned up on our beaches uninvited. This is a national emergency, and it's time to put the British people first. And that is why, upon winning the next election, a reform government will launch a 5-year emergency program to track down, detain, and deport all illegal migrants in the United Kingdom. Operation Restoring Justice will be the most transformative policy of our lifetimes. Now, some have already called our plan draconian. Here's our response. Britain is being invaded. Thousands of fighting-age men from countries that despise Britain continue to arrive on our beaches. Our plan is the only appropriate response to a national security emergency. It will also immediately stop the boats from coming, because it's going to send a clear message that being in our country illegally now has an ironclad consequence. Immediate removal. Deportation is the ultimate deterrent. As Prime Minister, Nigel will direct every instrument of state to ensure illegal migrants are removed from this country. We will pass the Illegal Migration Mass Deportation Act. And let me tell you this, the draftsmen who have worked on this legislation were given a clear and strict instruction that when Nigel is Prime Minister, there will not be a judge in the country that will be able to prevent a single deportation flight from leaving. We will leave the ECHR and repeal the Human Rights Act, replacing it with the British Bill of Rights. We will create a legal obligation for the Home Secretary to deport everyone in the country illegally and disapply all international treaties that are used to keep illegal migrants in this country. We will grant sweeping powers for the Home Secretary to detain illegal migrants, and we will pass a law that makes clear that if you come to this country illegally, you will never be granted asylum. End of story. We will create a new agency, UK Deportation Command, who will relentlessly track down and detain those in this country illegally. We will build capacity to detain up to 24,000 illegal migrants at a time. That will enable us to deport up to 288,000 illegal migrants a year. No chance of bail, no chance of absconding. Detention will mean deportation. We will embark on the most audacious charter flight operation since World War II, ramping deportation flights to 5 departures every day. And to guarantee success, His Majesty's Royal Air Force will keep a Voyager aircraft on standby as a hot spare. So even if a plane has mechanical issues, flights will not be stopped. Deportations will not be delayed. And beyond our shores, our Foreign Office will act with the urgency of a nation that's determined. Return agreements will be secured. Countries of origin will take back their nationals. We will offer financial incentives. But where the carrot fails, we will use our leverage. If a country refuses to take back their illegals, we will stop issuing visas to anyone from that country. And if necessary, we will sanction them. So I think everyone in this room, we have a message today for those in this country illegally. Enjoy those perks while they last, because when Nigel's Prime Minister, UK Deportation Command will find you, they will detain you, and they will deport you. Now, even just over a year ago, talking about what a reform government would do in power would have been met with scorn and laughter from the chattering classes. Reform had just one MP, and the first past the post system supposedly meant start-up insurgent parties like ours could never challenge the two-party system. The odds were long. But thankfully, we have a leader who kind of specializes in beating long odds. He beat the odds in surviving a plane crash. He beat the odds with Brexit. He beat the odds with the banks. He beat the odds by securing 5 seats last summer. And soon enough, he will defy the odds again and become the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Now, some will say all this can't be done. They said the same when Britain stood alone in 1940, when we stared down tyranny and defended the free world. They said the same when our sailors ruled the oceans, when our inventors sparked revolutions in science and industry, and when our explorers mapped the globe. They said the same when this island of ours raised its flag on every continent and gave birth to the greatest commonwealth of free nations the world has ever known. We are the land of Newton and Churchill, of Shakespeare and Rowling, the land that gave the world the rule of law, the English language, and the miracle of English common law. But today I say that for all of our rich history, our best days are ahead of us. Make no mistake, we are living through history being made in this country. In 100 years' time, they will study this chapter of British history. Children will be taught of prime ministers who allowed for our nation to be invaded and forced hard-working Brits to pay for it. They will learn of Tory politicians who lied time and again to the British people that they'd control immigration and then did the opposite. They will learn of a political class that betrayed its own people. They'll learn of a Britain that was besieged. But I believe they'll also learn about something else. They will learn that something remarkable and astonishing then happened. That just as has happened so often before in British history, the British people stood up and said, "No, not on our watch." I see a Britain in the future which has secure borders. I see a poised, powerful Britain which celebrates its history and looks forward to the confidence in its future. And I see a Britain that defends its values and cherishes its culture. I see a Britain which rewards hard work and takes the knee to nobody. I see a Britain in which, after having paid taxes your whole life, you can go to the hospital and be seen by world-class doctors and nurses at once. I see a Britain in which our young people can not only afford to move out of their parents' house, but one day they will be able to buy a home of their own. I see a Britain which puts British people first. And this is no pipe dream. This is now truly on the cards. Just look around you. So British people, young, old, I say this: it's time for us to stand up and write the next chapter in our great country's story. It's time to put the needs, the hopes, the dreams of British people first. It is time for reform. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you very much indeed, Zia. Time to catch up with JK. JK, what's up?
Right, tell me you can see me now. Look down. Here, look. Oh, for God's sake.
Where?
Here. Oi, here.
Oh, there.
How are you?
Lovely to see you.
Don't lie. Listen, we've been all over the venue, and it is astonishing to see and feel the vibe in the auditorium. But as I've said throughout the day, David, it's really interesting to speak to people who are excited about being here, because most times you come to this, it's quite boring, isn't it, to be fair? You've been a couple. What's your name?
My name's James, thank you.
Just watch this. Stand up. Hagrid's in the house. Jesus, man. Sit down again. Where are you from, apart from Hogwarts? Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from South Derbyshire.
South Derbyshire. Here for 2 days?
Just the one.
And on a serious note, Nigel did his speech earlier. You've heard Zia there. Lee is still to come, Lee Anderson. What does it mean to you? What does it mean to you as a voter? What have you seen as a difference in the last 12 months?
Well, as a young, I'm relatively young. I'm only 31, and as I've
all right.
And as I've got older, I've become more and more ingrained within politics. You know, from owning a mortgage and having a family and having to pay taxes, and it becomes more and more foundational, doesn't it, to your existence within the country. And I've never been so energised as I have to be part of reform as I am now. I'm absolutely... To be entirely frank with everyone, you know, we've got numerous parties from Tories to Labour and so forth, and all of them are meandering around in an area that no one here wants anything to do with, and Reform to me are the only party which give me that direction.
I think you speak for many people in the room. Thank you, my friend. And Keith, let's go down here, because these are the, David, these are the posh seats, aren't they? They're I'm slightly worried about this man, white-haired man, flying your flag, sir. What's your name? Doesn't know his name.
Robert.
How are you, Robert? Where are you from?
Wonderful. I'm from Perth, Western Australia.
Yay! Have you, you got a sense of humour, haven't you? So having been deported years ago for criminal activity, you've decided to come home.
Escaped.
You've escaped. I love the fact that a man from Western Australia is flying the British flag, because so much has been written and said in the last few weeks. What's your view on that?
Well, the thing is, I'm 85 years of age.
God, you look good.
Yeah. I left England in 1970, so that's 55 years ago.
And he can add up.
I'm still working too. I started my own decorating. I started my own decorating business, and I'm still running it.
This is your life. We need to crack on a bit. Why are you I'm only messing. Why are we waving the flag? What does the flag mean? Because I think it should be symptomatic of the people of Great Britain, don't you?
Of course it is. My biggest problem, because of my age, I'm concerned I won't see Nigel in office. I can't wait to get this bastard out.
They say, they say, never work with children, David, or animals. But an 85-year-old man that describes Sir Keir Starmer as, what did you say?
I can't repeat it.
Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much indeed, JK. Now, one of the accusations that have been levelled at Reform UK over the past few months is that it has been almost exclusively dominated by men. Let me just tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the doubters couldn't be more wrong. We have some incredible, formidable, and quite frankly, terrifying women in the party. We also launched our Women for Reform press conference just a few weeks ago with Sarah Pochin MP, Dame Andrea Jenkins, Layla Cunningham, and Lyndon Kemcaran. So to host our next session and broaden the theme, Women for Reform, please welcome another formidable woman. She is an award-winning journalist and international best-selling author. She's best known as a feisty columnist for the Daily Telegraph newspaper and as co-presenter with Liam Halligan of the Planet Normal podcast, which, by the way, is going to be recorded here live tomorrow on this stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alison Pearson.
God. Wow. Well, we're one woman down today because Angela Rayner's had to go and spend more time with her houses. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Very warm welcome to this Women for Reform session. We've got a fantastic panel for you. 3 of what have been dubbed as Farage fillies. It's a bit of an advance on Blair Babes and Cameron Cuties. Now, I was wondering what we could call the Starmer women. Starmer sleazies, do we think? Anyway, all
right, guys, that is enough. So we're going to have to end the live stream. I think we've watched enough of, Nigel Farage and his party Reform UK. So, look, we got a lot of things to do. We can't keep it going. We don't have enough resources to do something like this for a very long time. So I believe we've seen enough. Maybe tomorrow I might broadcast it, but I'm sure you can find it somewhere else. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. And without further ado, hand to the head salute. Bye bye. Attention. This is not just a normal t-shirt. This is your battle armor in this war against lies and manipulation and deception. And when you wear this t-shirt, you are not just making a statement. You are drawing a line in the sand. And you're saying, I will not be silenced, I will not be bought, and I will not be steered. Every thread in this t-shirt screams defiance. Every letter of I found the truth, not propaganda. Or maybe every letter of the nation needs to know is a rally cry out for independent thinkers, disruptors, the people who refuse to bend to the mainstream media narrative. We need your fund, and this is your chance to stand up, to speak out and fund the fight for the truth. Don't just wear it like a regular t-shirt. You have to live it. The nation needs to know you're gonna live it. Yes, please. I need you to fuel the resistance. Be the reason why the truth survives in this country. Please get yours at thebarakashow.com. And thank you so much for keeping us on air. Thank you.
In the shadow of the digital gulag, we fire up the truth cannon and blast through the lies.
and the show host, Baraka Amuri.